beneath the surface.
beneath the surface.
Yeah.
I seem to like just people losing their minds.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a crutch,
Okay.
but again, a way to get our characters in a situation where they might like remove their memories and see how they act.
Yeah. See what
This
stays the
was
same.
exactly
Yeah.
like who are we when we come down to it?
Huh?
Erase our memories, but um, who are we temperamentally at the most basic? So this was also supposed to be at the time that I wrote it. We had not addressed the O'Neill, Samantha Carter brewing relationship thing, and this was going to be the fan service of we'll get them to kiss, but it won't mean anything. And because I'd left the show by then, when I saw it aired, I was quite surprised that there was no kissing. And I was going, what happened?
So it was in the script.
It was totally in the script.
Wow.
And it did not happen. And I was a bit put out. I wanted to be the person to do the thing.
Yeah.
But I see why, because in the interim, they had written other episodes that had kind of walked up to that point,
Yeah.
and it didn't have a place anymore. And this is TV. Like I've said before, it's always changing. You have to kind of go with the flow. And so they pulled it.
Well, her head on his shoulder has been screen grabbed so many times and put in so many different places. I think that it's definitely not a kiss, but there is a familiarity there. There is a place of safety for both of them there, and intimacy. Yeah. And
I like that with I'm glad we've moved to that point. We've moved away from if there's a male and female lead, they must get together. I still don't think we've seen enough of that platonic but very deep friendship between men and women on TV. And, taking my current sensibility back to there, maybe would have put that in a little bit more, like hit that a little bit harder. I did have in there too a Barry Manilow joke they would not let me have Sam say, because there's that part where they're going through things that they remember that don't make sense. And Sam's like, this guy, I must have been like my boyfriend or something, like Barry Manilow. And it was supposed to be a joke. And now I'm realizing it would have been even funnier if O'Neill said it. Like, I really like this guy, Barry Manilow, and I can't figure out why, but I think he writes songs for the world.
I have to ask.
I would not do it.
Oh, man. So is that why it was replaced to Homer? Was that where it was inserted?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah, because he talks about, he's bald and he wears a short sleeve shirt. And I'm thinking he's going to say Hammond. And he says Homer.
Right. That's the diversion, the distractor. That's the joke. I also had, it wasn't this episode, but a previous one, I said that O'Neill should say Bueller. And Jonathan told me no, because that's too of the now, which was of the then. Okay.
It's
like
80s.
No one's going to get that. I know. And it's like Ferris Bueller is huge, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to get Bueller.
O'Neill was in Black Ops. What do you think he would have been watching? He would have been watching movies what they would have sent him overseas.
Even kids these days, they know the Bueller reference. So
maybe
I think
more
that
than
was
ever. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
yes,
for sure.
Because they have access to everything.
Exactly.
And
right.
Peter Deluise did come up to me later. He's like, I totally would have left Bueller in. You're right. It's funny. And that's high praise. Anytime I could get someone to acknowledge my funniness on a staff full of funny guys, that was a good day.
Do you have to? You talked a little bit about not being married to things because they can just change. Is there a certain callus that you've just got to build up to losing something like that? And when do you know to fight for it?
I think on this show in particular, there were things in Learning Curve. There were things in every episode that I had put in, and the guys would go, no, for whatever reason. Just they didn't like it, or it didn't sit well, or they didn't think it was the best way to go about it. Brad Brad Wright is like the diplomat of all time. This man should go work for the UN.
It's okay.
Because
It'll be fine.
totally his, we still say this in my family, like, it'll be fine. You have to draw it out. It'll be fine. Don't worry, it'll be fine. He 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 said, I saw this in the journal, it's like, let me pitch you how I thought would be a good way, which is really code for I'm going to do it this way, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to agree with the change I'm about to make.
That's great, man.
It is pretty darn, and whatever it was, and I think it was during New Ground. There was something during New Ground. No, I'm sorry. This was Foothold too. There was a lot of Foothold.
Yeah.
With the body swapping, because Richard Dean Anderson would not do a body swap with Sam Carter. So he would not pretend to be Sam Carter. Or maybe it was Terrell Rothery. I don't remember, but that was very clearly stated. So we had to switch it up. But Brad was like, so here's how I pitch it. And he starts out, and then I guess I finished it and I started acting it out. And this was in the room. And Jonathan and Robert are in there going, what are you two doing? But it was that great thing about writing in a writer's room is when you get people who are on the same page, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You always come up with something better. You just start riffing off each other. And that's one of the things. We did not work in the room together a lot. And especially by the time we were up to New Ground, we're getting toward the end of the season. There's pressure to get a whole lot of scripts in the can. And the guys, especially Robert Cooper, who wasn't yet a supervising producer, he's trying to prove himself. And Brad and Jonathan are trying to get shows together and write shows and do all their other stuff. There's, they've got to save time. So I think with New Ground and, well, definitely with New Ground and with Beneath the Surface, they would take the rewrite because they could get it done faster. It's easier for them to, instead of try to comment. And though they said, like, you make things better when you rewrite it. So yay, but we don't have time to wait for you. Because I'm not the fastest writer on the planet. And they needed it like this. And they're the bosses. It's their show. I am there to do what they want. I give my perspective. I bring a new perspective to it. And they were always good about, most of the time, except for that Bueller thing, listening and honoring it. But at the end of the day, we got a lot of money riding on this machine that needs to be fed and will not stop until the end of the season. So sometimes that means things gotta get done.
Thanks for watching this clip from Dial the Gate. You can find the full live stream shows on our YouTube channel or visit dialthegate.com for the complete schedule. See you on the other side.